Hi everybody, this is the Baseball Hut, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the People's Champion, your host of Hut, and this is another episode on the Nervous Hospital known as WFAN.
They're coming to take me away, ha-ha, they're coming to take me away, ho-ho, hee-hee, ha-ha, to the funny part.
Now here we are back at the Baseball Hut 2, just so you know, just going to do like a follow-up to the video that I did on Thursday on Sal Licata, also known as Spaz Licata, had a meltdown on Twitter and deleted his tweets. He could not own them. Had to run like a little biatch and did not, and the Hut means did not take ownership of it. I don't know if he said anything on his program. Probably not. They were very busy on the fan because Bill Belichick retired, stepped down as the coach of the New England Patriots, so they had a big topic, a huge topic, quite frankly. But this started on Wednesday. During the program on Wednesday with Brandon Tierney, the Coconut Head, and Sal Licata. I would mention anyone that is follically challenged, this is not an insult towards you. It's specific for Brandon Tierney. He is Coconut Head. And that is pretty accurate. That's probably about as many brain cells as he has. Very similar to that of a coconut. You're part of the insane asylum. Says it all. So, during that program on Wednesday, January 10th, 2024, Sal Licata, who I like to call Spaz because he spazzes out, he'll say, trade Pete Alonso one day, and then say, Pete, and then I want to give Pete a contract extension the next day. Not kidding, he has said that. I didn't know about that, but I know that he has been calling for the Mets to trade Pete. He said that Pete Alonso is a cancer in the Mets clubhouse, and after he said that back in August, the whole Mets organization, everybody surrounding the game, came and supported Pete. Said, no, he's a great guy. Also would point out that after the Mets traded Justin Verlander and Max Scherzer a few days later, during his radio program, he put on a paper bag to show how embarrassed he was to be a Met fan. Disgusting. This is Frank Flim-Flam-Flumming type behavior. Again, Frank Flim-Flam. He's a Flim-Flam man himself. But he has been saying all kinds of crazy stuff about Pete Alonso with no credibility behind it. Now, Mike and the Mad Dog, remember that show? Christopher Mad Dog Russo came out and said that do not pay attention to Sal. When someone on his XM radio program asked him about it, and especially about Pete being toxic, he goes, don't pay attention to Pete. I mean, don't pay attention to Sal. You know. Now, on Wednesday, according to the Genie Mets report, I'm not going to play the clip. I played the clip in the previous video. Licata said this, that this is a little bit different one, a clip I have. Sal Licata said on WFAN 660 that he has heard from multiple industry sources that Pete Alonso might prefer to play for the Cubs or Yankees in the future. Now, how does he know that? Now, somebody wrote to me Wednesday night saying, well, that's an opinion. That is not an opinion. He is stating some kind of fact that he's not sure of. He said, I'm not sure, in the clip that I played for you yesterday. I'll put the link in the description of this video for that video. He says he's not sure. He thinks he heard it, but that he thinks that Alonso want to play for either the Cubs or the Yankees. I would mention the Cubs made a pretty big trade on Thursday, and they acquired Michael Busch from the Dodgers. Michael Busch is considered one of the best prospects in the game, and probably might be the first baseman of the future there in Chicago. So Spaz doesn't have any idea what he's talking about. Now, the Mets came to sort of an agreement with Pete on an arbitration number. Well, he's not going to have to go to arbitration for the final year of his for his free agency. So he did not go to arbitration. It's a big deal because there's not going to be any hurt feelings. They're going to have like a Corbin Burns situation. But Wardy from WARDYNYM, NYM, who's on YouTube, is a big YouTuber, big Mets fan. He tweeted out something rather innocuous, to be honest with you. What he tweeted out was nothing crazy, in my view. It's pretty much what everybody says about WFAN. As you know, they're an insane asylum. They get the craziest people to go on there and just say crazy shit. I'm surprised they have not hired Frank Flim Flam Fleming at this point, who's been a guest on WFAN with Keith McPherson of all things. I have a question. McPherson has said that the Mets hiring Carlos Mendoza and bringing in different former Yankees, that they're Yankee cast-offs. Well, the guys the Mets have brought in, they're not toxic, cancerous individuals like what the Yankees did on Thursday night. And Marcus Stroman, he's the most toxic, the most cancerous player in the game for any clubhouse. The Blue Jays couldn't wait to get rid of him. And the Mets did not resign him. And the Mets were not happy that he did not play in 2020. And meanwhile, he was doing all these kind of weird calisthenics on his Instagram. But he's not a Met cast-off, according to the shill. Keep me fast. But I digress. So Wardy wrote this out. There's a reason why I've never referenced anyone from New York sports radio or making content, because they've been wrong every single time. Ain't that the truth? They're wrong about everything. Everything. Now Sal Spaz, who had me blocked on Twitter after I've been doing videos on him, specifically calling for him to apologize to Pete Alonso for calling him part of a toxic clubhouse. And him being at the center of it, he's not apologized to Pete. And I think the fact that he has not is terrible. When after Wardy, he goes, one day when you grow up, you might understand. Very disrespectful, in my view. I didn't think anything that Wardy said was rather milquetoast, to be honest with you. It's not like me leaving a tweet. Now, I would mention, because Sal had me blocked and then unblocked me, I know he's a bit of a wimp. He will not confront me on Twitter. He will not do that. But I will say this. I followed Sal on Twitter. He has not written to me. He doesn't want me doing videos or have any kind of like going back and forth with me. I could very easily discuss it quietly. He has not done that. Instead, he goes after Wardy, who has not said anything about him. And what he said was very generic. They went back and forth about, Spaz's sources, and Spaz says this. How do you know my sources? LOL. If you were smarter, you'd know better. I don't make shit up for clicks. I don't have to. But you're in the media. And everyone in the media lies to make up a story, no matter what it is. As you know, when it comes to the Mets, their narrative is whatever the Mets do is wrong, and when they do it right, it's still wrong. So it doesn't matter. Whatever the Mets do, it's not going to work out. It's a very satanic attitude. Well, they went back and forth a little bit. And, of course, Spaz tweeted out again, some people just don't get it. Good luck with your career. Very disrespectful guy. This guy should be very lucky that he has this show in the mid-morning. Because he's been a guy that's been a fill-in for 20 years. Now, people have been writing to me, oh, you're not Spaz. It's an accomplishment. Sports radio is dying. And it's dying because of this attitude to run down the hometown team. But they run the Mets into the ground here. They don't do that with the Yankees. They run the Mets into the ground. Nationally and locally. And specifically WFAN. They're always running them into the ground. And they always pretend that they're advocates for us. They are not advocates for us. They've never been. They never will be. And that's really what it comes down to. Now, I applaud Wardy because Wardy was very professional. And me and him have sort of not had words between each other, but we've said things in streams and in videos about each other. That's all in the past. That's inside the lines, in my view. Outside the lines, this happened on outside the lines. That's why I came and spoke up. Because Spaz should have a lot more respect for people that are trying to take care of their families too. It's not always about his family, but our families too. We're trying to do the best we can to do what's right, and for them first. Don't be like dumping on somebody because they have a different opinion than you do. In one regard, but then lie about certain things and pretend that's the truth. So now, because this interaction, Wordy followed me, I follow him on Twitter. I would mention, I would like to get to 500 followers on Twitter. I'll put the link into the baseball hut that's on X Twitter. I would really like to get to 500 and really like to get that monetized to a point where I can make some money on there. It's a untapped source of, of gold there, quote unquote. I like to be able to make a couple bucks. It'd be nice. Be something a little extra here for the hut. Speaking of which, one of my subscribers, one of the real good guys that writes to me a lot on this channel, all the channels, is Stony814. He sent me, I couldn't believe it, he sent me a super thanks. The amount, any amount that anyone sends me is well received here. But to send me that much money when so many people are struggling to make ends meet, with inflation out of control, prices out of control, taxes out of control. Thank you, Stony. It means so much to me and to my family. I can't tell you. So thank you. I will do live streams at some point. I don't know. Just remind me to make you a mod. I'm gonna forget. I know I'm gonna forget because I got a lot of stuff going on here. But I thank you so much. So thank you for that. And of course, thank you for watching this video. And this is another episode of the insane asylum known as WFAN.
They're coming to take me away, ha ha. They're coming to take me away, ho ho, hee hee, ha ha. To the funny part.